Hello, good evening, welcome around the world, wherever you may be, whatever time it is, and a big hello to everyone. I know Ray's going to be very excited tonight when we put the link inside the inner circle group for people in our chat here. Let's get myself in spotlight, and we will just say in the UK, everyone's probably heard the news about the Queen passing away. And we send our best wishes out to the family. She's been an amazing lady in charge of the UK, held the royal family together, and we'll leave it at that. And with full respect towards the royal family. So let's get on.
In respect to the Queen, we're going to have to pause, and we're going to have to wait until next week to release the message. No, I'm just kidding, Ray.
We had a late start because I forgot to put the link inside of the system. So I always forget. Was it last week I forgot to put us live into the live stream thing?
You know, it takes a lot to get all these things done, like giving me permission so that I can record the Zoom call as well, so we have a secondary backup.
You know what?
These are all these things that have to be done.
Let me find you. Oh dear, what a time, what a day. We always forget something. There you go. You can hit the button as well, Robert. I always forget something. But no, exciting times tonight. We've put a lot of hard work into this. And there's one link I didn't put inside of the Ranker system, and I'll make sure that that's added after tonight. But that's in the advanced stuff. So those that are getting this, follow the first steps when you do get in. Do you want to talk a bit about the Magic Ranker system, Robert?
Well, what I want to say first, before anybody gets too excited about looking for things, because we're very transparent. We don't hide stuff, but all inner circle members will always have first access to anything that we put out, as well as the best cost. That's just has been the given from the beginning and will stay that way. So things are constantly changing, things are constantly getting updated, but at the end of the day, the Facebook Inner Circle members group is always where the links are going to be posted for you guys, and also the live calls. That's where you come in and you get to see all the things that are going on. So that being said, the link that will be in that group is the best priced version of the DFY Magic Ranker. Many of you have it already, so there's nothing to buy. You already have what you're going to need, and you know we're not the we should be, but we're not the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. You got to upgrade and you got to buy versions. We don't do that. If we create something and we make it better, the upgrades are automatically added to your accounts. That's just what we do, and that's what we always have done. And I think you guys appreciate that, as we do the same when we buy things. That stopped me half a dozen times from buying from well-known internet marketers, just because they would sell something and it comes back around as 2.0 or 3.0, and they want to charge for it all over again because they added a couple extra features. Well, I bought in when it was the original version, and now I have to buy 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. I don't think that's fair. But that's just me. So that being said, what has anybody heard of the DFY Magic Ranker?
I have.
I have.
Ray's been hearing about it for months now. No, not that long, but it feels like it, doesn't it?
We're gonna start being out transparent, and we have a guest speaker here, Barry Newton. He took early action. Bob took early action. We know other people have built it, but we just haven't heard from them, and that is going to be things that are going to happen. You know, everybody's busy. Everybody's running their businesses. Everybody's running their agencies and doing the things that they got to do. So I'll say this. We've had very few support tickets, and we've had very few interesting things that people have come back and say, can you help me do something? But that's that's what we're here for when anybody does need help with something that we put out. So I would like to just call on Bob. I know that he's built a ranker, 1 or 2. If he wouldn't mind coming into the spotlight here with us.
Sure.
And just ask you a couple questions if you don't mind. Because that way it's not coming from us, it's coming from you guys. When you did the training for the DFY Magic Ranker, what if anything was difficult for you?
I found can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Hear you fine.
Okay, yeah, I found the instructions very clear. If you followed along, it's always a bit of a panic when you see something new and you're doing something new for the first time, but I found it went very well. I didn't run into any trouble until the last one, and I just had to go back a second time and go over it again, and everything seemed to work. So I would just say just follow the instructions. They were crystal clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what have you seen as far as results go? 'Cause we're transparent here. We're not hiding anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've used it I haven't used it a lot because I've been doing changing around in my websites, as you probably know. But
Right.
I've used it about 5 times, and I've seen movement in my sites. I have some cities that are on page 1 for certain keywords, and it definitely was responsible because they were just sitting there doing nothing without the Magic Ranker.
Okay. So when you come in now, this is at this point until I think it was only 2 days ago, Stephen, that we released the advanced elite version for all the previous members. So it's in their members area. I was going to ask Barry if he wouldn't mind coming into the spotlight.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys.
So Barry, we posted your testimony as well as Bob's online, and it's on our Magic Ranker website. How are you doing with it? How did you find the training?
I found it really easy. I mean, I didn't rush it. I took it slowly, followed the instructions. I spent about a week setting everything up, but at the end of it, I had the full system. I posted a couple of campaigns, and I've actually started to see some inquiries coming through. This was on my own sort of personal website that I used on here, but yeah, I've actually had some inquiries come through. So people are finding the website, which is great. Training was superb. Didn't find any problems whatsoever.
And just to back up a little bit, because your particular case, and I think Bob had more aged domains that he had sites built, and that were just kind of stuck and used the ranker on. But I happen to know from your previous conversation with us that you built a brand new domain. And put a brand new website on it. Added all the right features, the foundations to the website, and then you launched I think two campaigns.
2 campaigns, that's right.
And within 4 weeks you had the conversation with Google about your Google Business Partner.
I did indeed. Google contacted me quite out of the blue, really, and asked me if I wanted to sort of list my site, and obviously I answered yes, and then they sent me posted me a verification code, and they gave me a GMB. I didn't ask for it, but now I've got it, which is fantastic, really.
So see, this is what it's always following the direction. It's always following what Google wants to see. And I'm going to share the website that we did. I also want to comment. Steve Dimmick heard of it, got it, implemented it, and got a client in a national market completely full with clients for the next 75 days. So Steve Dimmick, and I'm glad you're feeling better, Steve, by the way. I know that you've been not well for the last couple of weeks. Listen, that's phenomenal. We know you work hard, Steve, as well. And eventually we're going to get your feedback on the DFY Magic Ranker. Oh, we're not gurus? Darn. We don't have guru status yet, Steve.
I haven't paid Mr. Steve Dimmock enough money to say that.
I'm sorry. No, I meant gurus, meaning not you guys. You sign up for subscriptions and then you cancel, and then they don't cancel you. They keep charging you. But you guys are awesome gurus, and you're compassionate, reliable. You can count on you. You're fast to respond to anything, and you always go above and beyond. And so, if anybody's on the fence about this page, the rank maker thing, I'm in the training, but not at
Well,
their point.
this is what it's all about, and this is what it, that's my passion. That's Stephen's passion about being a defier, because all of the things that we've been through, and all of the things that people let us down, that never came through all the way with us. Welcome, Kurt. By the way, Colin, Frankie. We appreciate all of you tuning into this.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna get into is all of the people that we're talking to so far have only used the basic version of the DFY Magic Ranker. And what is the DFY Magic Ranker? It's a automated system that you guys build. It's not something that we totally create for you. What we do is we give you the blueprint, we give you the system itself, which is already done, proven, and tested on our end to make sure that it's working. And then you're adding your accounts to the system. You don't have to rebuild it. You don't have to rethink it. You don't have to figure it out. That's where we spent all of our time. I think we started this around 11 months ago. In reality, we constantly have looked for things to do in our own business to make it better. This is one of those things we wanted to put in. It's one of the packages that we wanted for the Defiers and the DFY Magic Themes program. Build the websites, get them rented, get them ranked, charge for the extra services, and then do the onboarding. This is the whole process that we're going through. But right now we're just talking about the DFY Magic Ranker, but this is on the Friday Q&A call for DFY Magic Themes. This is what we do every week. So as we go through this, when you get the ranking system, you're going to have to go through a series of training videos, step by step, and set up your own ranking system. This is, as you heard from Bob and also from Barry, it's follow the steps and put it together. Is it work? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to close my door real quick.
The one thing that we've been so busy with the advanced part of this that I noticed a moment ago that I hadn't actually ticked all the boxes for the beta testers who came in early at the very start of this. I've now ticked those boxes, so every beta tester should have the advanced training that's in there now as well, which will give you even more glue to this and make it even better. You'll see how much training's gone into the systems in there. So when you have a look, it's going to blow your socks off. So anyway, carry on.
It's constantly adding the extra things, the extra juice to the entire system. Now, what's really interesting to me is that I got to see things in a whole new light since we added on the advanced. Is what Barry did is he took a website and he made that website his trigger site, brand new, and then added the DFY Magic ranking system to that site. And that's why he's ranking with it already. I had the same. And in full transparency, localdmk.com. It's still the same trigger site that you guys saw in the training. Guess what? Haven't touched it. I haven't added social media on the account. I haven't done citations. You look at the site, localdmk.com. There's no address. There's no phone number on the site. It only had the ranker push it 2 or 3 times, and it's ranking for 6 different keywords. Could it be better? Absolutely. If I did the rest of it and actually SEO'd all the images and did the things that I should be doing, that site would be doing better. But Stephen, that image I sent you earlier, is that something that you could post?
I can share it on our screen. Give me one moment and I will get this on the right screen.
Is this magical? No, it's not magical. It's just the fact that it's following the directions of the system as we built it. And this is the basic site that we put on the front end, like Barry did, of the Magic Ranker system. So this is what we call the trigger site. That is not an exact match domain. It is not a expired domain with all kinds of history behind it. It's just a domain that I had on my account that I wasn't using. Thought it was interesting because I made the DFY Magic Ranking system generic. I made it so that I could use it for any kind of sites. So it's about website design. In reality, it's the Magic Themes general contractor site to rent websites. And that's what I put in there. But now my intention was to be able to use it for anything. And that's what I have done. I've done different campaigns for different things for other clients that I have, and it's helped their sites. But looking at that image, you can see this was taken today. The keywords, they're 3 and 4 letter or word keyword phrases. And again, this site is a basic out of the box, not touched since I ran the ranker on it 3 times. It's just the trigger site of the ranker and not the advanced. Because since the advanced, we changed the trigger sites to be in a more powerful way that I'm not even going to try to explain on this call because it's just going to confuse you. But right now, this site, we post a nice article on this site, and that triggers the DFY Magic Ranker automation to go through the system and take that post and put it out on approximately around 60 authority sites. Just by posting one post, that's the trigger on this site, localdmk.com. It'll then go through the DFY Magic Ranker system that we have set up on our accounts. That's the work involved. You have to have those accounts. Is it horrible? No, it's worth it. The reality is you're telling through automation using authority that this site that you're posting about with the link in the content is of value. And that's why it works so well, because you're using authority to come back to the trigger site or your other sites that you want to rank for, depending on how you set up your ranking system. You have options. So, you know, should I have built 20? I should have, but I didn't have time, been doing other things. But at the end of the day, you guys go look for yourself. Go see what you see. Maybe it's different in different areas. I'm not going to say that they're spot on. Most keyword tools report things pretty accurately, but sometimes there's a delay to them at the end of the day. So Bob says, is it possible to change the trigger? Not only is it possible, Bob, you can replicate your whole system. You can go in and clone all of your different connections and use another trigger site and another trigger site if you want to keep doing that way. And it's not that hard to do. Once it's set up, it's the initial account setup that takes the most time. But that's exactly what you're doing in the advanced, is we're changing the trigger sites to a different version of a trigger site that you're able to put spun content out to instead of the standard content. That's what's going on in the DFY Magic Ranker at the moment. On the initial trigger site, you can only post regular content. You can't post spun content. When you get into the advanced, then you have additional features that you can use. You can then put spun content on the 10 different trigger sites that you have, and that puts out to those individual legs the spun version of that content. So it gets more and more and more advanced and able to do more things. But the reality at the end of the day, the growth and the potential of the DFY Magic Ranker itself, it's been an ongoing conversation between Steve and I. Should we offer it? Should we not offer it? Is it too much? Should we just keep it for ourselves? And we've been back and forth and back and forth. And the reality is, at the end of the day, I don't care how many we sell, because I know it's going to work for me, and I know it's going to work for what we're going to do, because we're going to take this thing to the whole next level going forward with the elite advanced DFY Magic Ranker that you guys have access to, those that bought in early. You guys also in the inner circle, if you choose to get involved with this, will have access to that. Now, it's up to you what you want to do with it, but here's a major Google algorithm. It's not anything new. The more referring domains, like if you have, let's say you have some kind of a WordPress authority site, right? And if you get the same post from the same type, the same website over and over and over again, it's discounted. The first one that you get, the first link is good for the algorithm. The next 10 or 20 from the same site don't have as much weight because you already have one link from that site. It's called referring domains. The more different referring domains that you have, the stronger those links become behind the site you're trying to rank. Are you seeing what I'm trying to say? If you have 10 referring domains, that's one thing. If you have 100 referring domains, that's another. If you have 500 referring domains, now you're starting to really cook. And that's the magic of the elite portion, because you're going to be able to grow your network behind it. And that's where all of that goes. But without getting to all the complications of it, that's what it's going to require at the end of the day. You have to have those accounts. You have to have everything looking back to what you're trying to rank. And once you have, what we give you are the scenarios that are already pre-built. They're already hooked up. They're already ready to go. You follow our click-by-click instruction to change those scenarios to your accounts. They're no longer our accounts. Now, if you want to use our accounts, it's okay. We're good with that because you'll grow our network. But we suggest you go in, you follow the training, and you change our links to your accounts. That's when it becomes yours.
Actually, just to be very clear on that, when you use a scenario, our accounts aren't in there.
Okay. I thought they would still show the links. No, you're right, because on the new accounts they won't be in there. They have to be added. You're correct.
Yeah.
I was really just kidding, but that's the reality. You follow, you look. We is it smart of us to show all the links and all the things we're doing? No, it's not. It's really not. But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because we're going to build another ranking system anyways that you guys haven't seen on accounts and on niches that we want to go after. But this first one is localized. It works. It's ranking on its own without doing all the right things that should have been done to that website. And you heard it from Barry. You heard it from Bob. These are the things you got to do. Steve Dimmick, we haven't had the opportunity to really talk to him yet, but I think he's done it on a pretty big scale. I know Don's working on his. I don't know where he's at yet. But yeah, it's one of those things. Is it worth the work putting into creating? Yes, no question. Because you're also, that's what I'm looking for. You're also separating your money sites from the backlinking structures by using authority in between. Google loves Google. You're not going to hurt a Google account by backlinking it. And those Google accounts are going to backlink your accounts that you're trying to rank. That's what the DFY Magic Ranker really is. That's what it's about. The sales page is up. All Inner Circle members, like I said, had the best pricing. What is the price at the end of the door? Out of the door, Stephen, for Inner Circle members?
So
we can't say that if we're in the other groups.
when you go to the sales page, which we will share in the group in a moment, when you click to go to click buy, it says 997, right? But the Inner Circle members, when we say goodnight to all the other groups, are going to get it for a heck of a lot less. For those that haven't already purchased it, and like I said, those who are already members, you'll probably see an extra icon saying DFY Magic Ranker. Currently says extra, but I think we're changing it to something else, but I can't remember. Elite. But what I've done for tonight because we have to go through the original members and enable them to have access to that. I've just enabled the access inside the original icon. So when you go into the original icon, you'll see all the advanced training in there as well. And then eventually we'll move it into 2 separate sections to keep it easy on the members area.
And please understand that the way that the training has been set up is it's building on itself. You have to have part 1 done to do part 2 and part 2 to do part 3. And when you get into the elite, if you haven't done the basics, don't even touch the elite yet, because you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. Get the basics done, because you can use the basics to copy and paste into the elite. And you can keep growing with this and keep changing this. You'll see that when you get involved with it. It seems like it's a lot of work and it's very daunting when you're first looking at it. But at the end of the day, the results are it's going to work for you because of what it is. And then once you get into the elite, you can take this thing to levels you wouldn't even think could even be possible at that time. And that's what we're going to do with it. So I don't care. I don't know about Stephen, but I really don't care how many copies we sell. It's here to put out to the DFY community to use and help you guys. But at the end of the day, this is a tool that we wanted for ourselves. And that's why we spent so much time and effort to make it work, because it makes sense of how you put it together and how you put the authority behind the sites you want to rank and protect. It's like, I don't want to call it a single niche PBN, because it's not. It's an authority PBN in a way, but it's all authority backlinks coming down back to your websites first, and then behind it is almost like the single niche PBN. So you have all the authority sites looking at your site directly, or the trigger site, depending on how you're setting it up. And behind that, you have the single niche PBNs coming with massive amounts of relating backlinks and websites to your sites. You have to see it in place. It's one of those private social network. Yeah, it is a private social network, Kurt. That's correct. As well as you still have 2.0 properties in there, and you still have WordPress. It's just going to be the options and the limits are endless. That's what I'm going to say to you. There's just no way that you can ever run this thing out to be too big or too small. Do you need it all? No, but we're also talking sometimes, in Barry's case, he's in a law or an attorney legal niche, which is very competitive. He may need more than somebody that's in something that's not competitive. But anymore, anything is competitive. There's only so many websites out there. There's only so many niches. And if you have what makes the difference of 100 referring backlinks versus somebody that only has 10, and you guys have done everything else the same, you're going to outrank them. That's the point of it. Anything you want to add to that, Stephen?
No, I think this is, we've done a lot of hard work into it. All the advanced stuff, myself and Robert has worked hard on, and I'm just finding the links now, Robert, because I'm going to put the links in the chat for people. I'm just going to go and grab them off what I sent you earlier. I've got it somewhere. Where did I put it? Did I send them to you earlier?
I don't know that you did.
Then where did they go to? Now.
Oh, sorry guys, you can't buy it.
Yeah, I'll go and get it else. I'll go and get it from another link. No, me, I've sent the Magic Ranker system to somebody I don't know. Out of it. I'll grab the URL and then I will. So anybody wants to check out the sales page, I don't mind sharing the sales page, and then there'll be a different link underneath these videos in the group, in the free groups, where you can go and sign up for when we get ready to do a webinar on it for anyone else. All right. So I'm just going to copy the URL. I'll put it in.
One thing I will say, anybody looking at this video or the replay, if you're not willing to invest time into your business and do what it takes to build these accounts, don't even start. Don't buy something that you're not going to use or you're going to work on, because it's not going to work for you if you're not going to do the work. I can guarantee that. No results are guaranteed if you are not going to do the setup process. That's a 100%. So don't even waste your time or our time even starting on something that you're not going to do. And I say that cold-heartedly because I don't want people to start this and not do it. Use the tools that you have. Use every unfair advantage that you can possibly get in your business. And when you see the results, then you can talk about it later. But again, it's not a scarcity thing. It's not, I don't want to sell 100,000 copies of this. Monetarily, sure, that's great. But then you flood the market with the tool that you want to work for your people in your community. And that's not fair to them. So
no, you're right, Bob.
Anybody could do this. Anybody could really do this on their own if they want to spend enough time to figure things out. The whole point of this, at the end of the day, is if, I'll pick on Lynn. Say Lynn and I decide we're going to do the same competing niche, right? And Lynn knows that at this point, she's got to do her on page. She's got to do, her site has to be built right. It has to have good content. She knows it has to have citations and the right social media connections, right? And she's going to do all that. And then she's going to stop. And Lynn understands this business. The average local business owner puts up a website. And in fact, my son had somebody reach out to him and said, we want to get a landing page, and we know other people are doing real well with it, and we just want a landing page, and we want all the traffic to go to the landing page. And I said to my son, I said, what are they talking about? He says, they don't have any idea what they're doing. They just heard that if they put a website up, they're going to make $1 billion. And I said, okay, well, what business are they in? And he said, well, they're in health insurance. I said, geez, one of the most competitive businesses out there is health insurance. What's their location? Well, I don't know yet. We're going to talk to them. But that's what they want to do. I said, they're not going to put up a single page and rank. It's not going to happen. It's just, that's not the reality. So these are the features that if Lynn knows and I know, we're going to go after the same niche. We're going to do all the same things for on page. And if we have the exact same website, and then I add the DFY Magic Ranker and Lynn doesn't, who's going to outrank? It's a given. It's just what the systems are going to require. So, being transparent. Can we guarantee anything? Absolutely not. I cannot guarantee anything. But if you're not going to do the work, don't get involved in it. And if you're going to do the work, do all the right things to your website. Make sure that you're doing the right things. That's what the whole DFY Inner Circle is about. Getting set up for success. Doing the right kind of build for your websites. Doing location time keyword. Doing the right keyword research. We do most of that for you in DFY Magic Teams, but at the end of the day, you have to do those things to be in the game. Your on page is now all set. Now you're going to go to social media. You're going to start setting up social media signals. Now you're going to go after that to citations. You're going to tell Google this site and this business is in existence in this area, and they do this. And Google sees all these and they start connecting the dots. Now, all they need next is somebody to tell Google that this site is worth looking at. That's the authority that comes in from DFY Magic Ranker to put the icing on the cake, to tell Google all of this is good, and now they have the authority backing them up. Rank that site, and that's what happens. It's difficult if you don't understand and don't know, but it's not difficult when you lay it out in a system. And you copy and paste the scenario, and you put out one post. That's the automation. You make one post, you put a link in that post, and that automation goes through your entire system. And when it's done, you're telling Google through automation, all of these places. Does it happen overnight? No, it takes time. but you can push things faster to make Google see it. But at the end of the day, Google's still going to be Google, and we're going to tell you any different. That we're not tricking Google. We're just telling Google and giving them what they want to see. They want to see your website associated with authority. They want to see your website associated with related websites in the topics and in the information that you put out. If you're writing articles about a completely different niche and putting a link in that content and linking that back to, let's say the niche is plumbing, and you're starting to talk about tree cutting services, and you put the link for plumbing with your tree cutting service article, that's not related content. You guys know all this anyways, but at the end of the day, Google looks at that and they're going to make sure that link is talking about plumbing when it goes back to the plumbing site. That's what they want to see. So all of this is basics, but if you don't know, we say it all the time, you don't know what you don't know. And we help with that. We try to help you explain it in the basics so you understand what you're doing is going to make a difference down the road. It doesn't happen in 24 hours. Google indexes sites slowly. It's just the way it is. And if they see authority and they see social signals coming from authority sites, they tend to pay a little bit more attention, but they're still Google. And they're going to take their time to rank sites. Now, when Stephen showed you that little image earlier, it wasn't just Google. It was Bing and Yahoo. And they're all ranking these same keywords in different ways in different positions. And that's what that one thing did show. I don't know if you caught that in the image, but we're not just going after Google. We're going after all of them the best we can to get as much traffic as we can. And it takes time to build these sites up. There you go. So you have Google, Yahoo, and Bing in that image. So Google and Yahoo are not exactly parallel, but they're pretty close. And then Bing is like on the other side of the fence in what they do. So you can be getting a ton of traffic from Bing and not Google, or vice versa. So you're always trying to get the most relevant content about your niche on those sites.
Yeah.
So questions.
So I've put the link in the chat for people and who's on the Zoom call and inside the Inner Circle group. Anybody who's watching the live replays and you want to go and sign up ready for the official launch, it's dfymagicthemes.com/magic ranker. The links below the videos in the free groups. Anybody who's in the Inner Circle, don't share out the discount, because that's a special discount for you guys for being in the Inner Circle. All right. And so we want only Inner Circle members to get in on the special price. And then we'll send an email out to people and announcements in the groups when we come to launch it at the other prices it's going to come out at. And it's going to be closer to the 997 deal, but not near what you guys are getting in for being in the Inner Circle, being members. And as you know, with all our products, we look after you guys. If you have any issues, you raise a support ticket. And then if we feel it wants a call that, if myself, Rob, or Greg can't deal with it, we will then hop in on a call with you guys to give you that support. And so the value is always more than what's there. And any other, like Robert said, any other updates we add to it, and we got some other ideas coming in, the training will be added in there to make it even better. And you guys get that automatically, whoever signs up for it. So,
now, one thing I want to make clear. The automations are not what Stephen and I put together. It's a third-party source of automations. There's a free version to the automations that you can use. We built a complete scenario that you can copy and paste that is in the free version. The issue, and we'll be transparent with it, is you're limited in the free version. Obviously, anything that does anything free, they always tend to hold back something. They create something to get you involved to go to the advanced or pro version. Now, that being said, The best scenario I can tell you is the old school Christmas lights from when I was a kid. They were a string of the little mini lights, right? There'd be 100 bulbs in the string. If one bulb went out, the entire string went out. And you had to go find the one bulb that went out to fix the whole string.
I remember as a kid having to do that.
Right?
Hours and hours.
That's the free version of the automation. It has to go through every one of the individual connections. And if one of them drop, then the entire string drops.
Yeah.
And you have to go back and find out what of the connections went bad, what happened. So what we did in the paid version of that tool is it allows you to break the strings up into individual sections. So you can have 10 different runs of the different accounts. And if one of the runs for some reason had how do I say this without giving out the cat, letting the cat out of the bag? Certain accounts, especially authority accounts, don't like you to run 100 posts a day. They'll limit you to the number of posts that you can put on their particular network. So if you have one of those accounts set up, and you're like, this is what we ran into in testing for months and months and months, and we couldn't figure it out for a long time. Finally, we figured it out. It wasn't us. It wasn't our connection. It was the fact that we timed out how many times we could put something on their account. And then they said, no, you got to wait 24 hours. The next day it would work. But if that connection was in the Christmas tree string scenario, the whole thing would fail. It wouldn't get done. So sometimes the pro version, if you will, of the automations is the much better choice. And what I'm going to say to you is it's probably $100 a year cost. That's outside of the DFY Magic themes. Like I said, you can do the free version, but if you really want to make this and take this to the next level, we highly recommend that resource be upgraded.
Yeah.
And that gets you really moving along. You'll see what we're talking about once you're in the system. We're not trying to hide things from you, but at the same time, other people don't know what we're offering. Other people don't know what it is, and we're not going to tell them.
And guess what? We got to say goodnight to the free groups, and then we can help Ray with where the discount code goes. All right. So
he says he doesn't see the discount code.
So it's written in the text, but we will explain as soon as we're. So night free groups. We've got lots to talk about in the inner circle, and I'm gonna play this video and switch off all the free channels. So night free channels, and we'll see you very soon.
And thank you for watching.